So there's a really alarming trend happening in the 2018 midterms. Anti-hate groups say they're seeing a surge in candidates running on an explicitly white nationalist message. The Southern Poverty Law Center has identified 8 candidates running for office with white supremacist ties, a number they say is higher than any election in recent memory. Our Morgan Radford traveled around the country to actually talk with some of those candidates to find out why they think this is the year they can win. And Morgan, let's address this head on. The idea that by giving these candidates a platform for disgusting racist messages, by putting it on TV, you're giving their message oxygen. At the same time, these are people who think they can actually succeed here.
Some consider it giving oxygen, Hallie, but others say you can't combat hate if you can't identify it. Because the truth is, this is not the kind of thing you expect to hear in 2018. People calling for racial segregation and openly denying the Holocaust. But see, that's the message that's coming from a growing number of candidates this year who see it not just as rhetoric, but also as a winning platform. But there is a warning. Some of our viewers may find the following language and these views pretty offensive.
Hi, my name's Art Jones.
Nice to meet you.
I'm a candidate for Congress here in the 3rd District.
Okay.
Arthur Jones is running for Congress in Chicago's 3rd District.
Do you think you have a shot at winning?
Listen, I wouldn't be in this if I didn't think I could win.
He's also one of at least 8 white nationalists running for state or federal office this year, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
I consider myself a white racialist.
Jones was a member of the American Nazi Party who denies the Holocaust ever happened.
6 million Jews. Ridiculous.
He's also campaigning to keep Chicago's neighborhoods 90% white.
I think most white people want a white neighborhood.
Do you think that black people are genetically inferior?
The average IQ of a black person is about 20 points lower than the average IQ of a white person. Okay?
I went to Harvard.
All right. And you got a lot of white blood in you, too.
Some white blood. I'm African American.
Well, that's where your intelligence is coming from, I think.
You think it comes from my white side?
I think so.
20,000 people voted for Jones in the March primary. And even though he ran uncontested, he'll be on the Republican ticket in November, a fact many locals find unbelievable.
And you want my vote?
No, I don't want your vote.
Okay, you're not gonna
I don't want idiots like you voting for me.
But Jones's supporters say he's exactly the kind of candidate they want to see in Washington.
Even Abraham Lincoln believed that the races should stay separated. He said there's too great a difference between the black and white races that could possibly live together.
Do you feel that way?
I feel that way, too.
Anti-hate groups say the number of white nationalists running for office across the country this year is higher than ever before. Many of them running on the Republican ticket, like Patrick Little.
This monstrous nature of the Jewish people must be known to the public.
You think Jews are monsters?
As a group, they are definitely behaving as a monster, 100%.
Little is running for Senator Dianne Feinstein's seat in California and blames Jews for America's problems.
They do the bidding of a foreign power that has committed terrorist attacks against this country.
He says President Trump is talking to people like him.
Because he dog-whistled about globalists, I didn't understand he was talking about Jews until after the election.
The state's Republican Party says it wants nothing to do with him and declined to speak with us on camera.
It should be a wake-up call. If these types of candidates are going to come out from under the rock, they need to be repudiated at the ballot box.
We're a nation of communists, atheists, crooks.
But their supporters say this is exactly what they think will make America great again.
It's not because we're racist. It's because we feel marginalized, and we're the ones who are being oppressed.
Both of those candidates are running on the Republican ticket, but the Republican National Committee says that America has no place for white supremacy. Hallie?
No, none. It is racist and disgusting, Morgan, and it is disturbing to listen to some of the comments in that piece. You talk about how this is a record number running, but it's still just 8, right? I mean, it's still just a fringe group out there.
That's the problem, Hallie. I think sometimes that when we dismiss them as just fringe groups, we don't allow for the fact that these people are trying to become part of our political process. So, for example, Patrick Little, that second candidate I interviewed out in California, he said that he's listed as a civil rights advocate. And when I said, now hold on, do you really think you're a civil rights advocate? He said, yes, I do. I'm advocating for working white Christian men, and we feel oppressed by the Jews. And I said, when you press these guys on exactly what it means, what their campaign platform means, they're talking about forcibly removing people not only from their neighborhoods and their communities, but also from this country and their lives. Hallie?
There was that moment, Morgan, when you were in that conversation with, I think, Arthur Jones. You said, "I'm African American." What was it like for you to be out there in these moments?
Well, you can imagine when he talked about my white blood, and I informed him that white blood is actually Jewish blood. You can imagine his face then. But the reality of it is that this isn't new to me, right? I'm African American. I grew up in the South with a Jewish grandmother, and I grew up speaking Spanish. But what is new to me is the way that we're now parsing words around the labels: white nationalist versus supremacist versus racialist. Right. And what's happening, and it's belying this rhetoric of violence, because even in the comments section, when they talked about this interview, someone said that journalist should hang from a noose. And that's the type of rhetoric that we worry could lead to action. Callie?
And let's not parse words here.